that song will never not, it will never not hit. It'll never not hit. And that's the energy that's rolling around LSU's campus right now. Because Lane Kiffin is just shoving on everybody at this moment. And it's a beautiful thing to witness. But he's not the only one throwing his weight around in the boot. Tyler Shuck is shucking up. He cutting up right now. Tyler Shuck is doing what he's supposed to do. And right now, at this point, Tyler Shuck is my offensive rookie of the year. And I, hands up, at the start of the season, never would have picked that at all. Never. Good evening. Welcome to the show. Thank you to everybody who watches, listens, and engage. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the videos, get it out there. I want to do everything in my power to grow this channel, and we are on the steady climb up. But none of that is possible without you guys. So when you come across those small reels, those small shorts, like, comment, engage. I want to engage right back with you. Follow us on Twitter at TNT_PodNola, or you can follow me personally at AJP413 on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. I'm on there all day having fun, posting stuff about LSU and the Saints and the Pelicans. And the Pelicans got a fifth win in a row. The Pelicans are on a legit win streak. 5. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5. The Pelicans got 5 wins, y'all. Crazy work right now. Crazy work. But tonight we're going to go over this, a little bit of this LSU coaching staff. We're going to talk about Tyler Shuck and the Saints. And then I want to talk about why Lane Kiffin's process and how he is, and the approach that he's taking to LSU in this job, how it's showing me and giving me a lot of hope for what's to come. Because there's a certain level, there's a certain approach that you have to have for this job specifically. And if you don't, you wind up like the last 3 coaches. Which, I mean, in all honesty, ain't that bad when you're fired with a massive buyout of money to not do the job. But at the end of the day, who wants to not do what they love to do? So, but we're going to get into that later on in the show to close things out. We're not going to be up long. I know I'm starting late tonight. I had to get the hair retwisted for the holidays. But because of this late start, I am going to drop some nuggets tomorrow. Going to try to go live every day except for Christmas, even do a little something early New Year's Eve. Early Christmas Eve. And even try to drop something early Friday morning too. So let's get into it. Lane Kiffin's coaching staff is finally official. Kevin Smith was announced yesterday. They dropped a video of him walking up the stairs to football ops after Charlie Weiss Jr. and the rest of the offensive staff had just kicked the teeth in on Tulane the day before. The next morning, they flew over from Oxford to BR to start processing the rosters and doing evaluations on the current players. And it was reported by Matt Moscona through LSUsports.net that he spent majority of his time meeting with Harlem Berry and his father Harry Berry, which is a major move. He understands immediately like what he's supposed to do. So these guys, while they may not be in the building 24/7 like Lane is right now, because they are doing the right thing in preparing Ole Miss for their national championship run, which most likely will come to an end this weekend in New Orleans. How ironic is that? But they're doing the right thing by staying there and coaching that team, preparing those players to go into that game. And it's an uphill battle right now. I mean, Georgia's favored by 6.5. You're saying that Georgia's a touchdown, full touchdown better than Ole Miss right now. And they barely beat Ole Miss when they played in the regular season. I don't know if them not having Lane Kiffin at the head is worthy of a 7-point swing. I don't know if it's the injuries that Ole Miss may have sustained or the fact that Georgia may be getting a little bit healthier and peaking at the right time that has the odds makers setting that line that high up. But we're not here to discuss Ole Miss versus other. We're here to discuss this coaching staff, this phenomenal coaching staff that Lane Kiffin has assembled. The one thing that I don't think is being stressed enough is the amount of continuity that Lane Kiffin has been able to maintain within his staff within the first month of being here. I hear bits and pieces of people discussing it. I hear nuggets here and there, but it needs to be highlighted. That is a very difficult thing to do, is to achieve continuity on a staff in which you are leaving one SEC rival for another SEC rival. And you don't just blow out the entire old staff. You are taking a top 25 defense in the nation. You said, no, I'm going to keep that staff. And I'm going to take my top 10 offense in the nation and say, no, I'm going to bring that staff with me and I'm going to put these two staffs together. So the defensive staff has continuity within itself, only having to make one additional hire, and then the offensive staff has its complete continuity within itself, also with only having to make one offensive hire along the offensive line. Now, the big piece in the offensive hire isn't necessarily the OC and Charlie Weiss Jr., even though he's a pivotal piece. But I think the big piece is getting Kevin Smith. And that's because as someone who's been with Lane Kiffin for almost for over 8 years, going on 9 years. 9 years this season makes 9 years. He's been with Lane Kiffin. He knows how his offense is supposed to flow, how running backs are supposed to be implemented, trained, and developed within this system. And he knows the rotation, how Lane Kiffin likes it. That's a huge piece, especially considering the fact that they took a guy from Missouri, turned him into one of the best running backs in the nation, rushed for over 1,300 yards and I think 20 touchdowns in a single season. And he's still got a year of eligibility. English words, they're hard. He still has a year of eligibility left. Now, it's not to say that he is going to jump in the transfer portal and immediately follow Kevin Smith, but it's not out of the realm of possibility either. And that is something that you have to consider. Considering where LSU's running back room is right now, it's very depleted. We have 2 scholarship running backs on the roster, and Caden Durham and Harlem Berry, and they're very explosive. But Caden Durham dealt with a lot of injuries in the last 2 seasons. Harlem Berry is just a true freshman. And granted, in Harlem's first season, he carried the ball for over 100 times, had a total of over 400 yards, so he averaged just over 4 yards a clip, and he scored twice. That's some really good production from out of a true freshman. But you need another veteran running back. And if you can add a running back who led the SEC in rushing, and in my opinion, should have been a Heisman Trophy finalist. You don't pass up on that opportunity. So getting a guy like Kevin Smith who could potentially develop and train Harlem Berry and integrate him into this offensive system alongside of a Keywan Lacey is pivotal. But even outside of them two, the continuity within this offensive staff is amazing too. And if you watch that Ole Miss versus Tulane game, you will see just how explosive that offense was. And also just how balanced it was too. It was a smart offense. They took exactly what the defense gave them. They didn't force the issues on anything. They didn't make major mistakes. And they executed well at a high volume. It was great. It was great to watch. It was good to see LSU's coaches go out and flex their muscles because that's what they are. They're LSU's coaches on Ole Miss's sidelines. It's a crazy world of college sports that we live in. Nothing else I can say. But the defensive staff we saw execute all season along LSU sidelines. It was the piss poor offense that we had, which is the reason why Brian Kelly got fired, and we have Lane Kiffin now. Thank God for that. But LSU and Lane Kiffin made a pivotal hire along the defensive line today by getting South Carolina's edge and outside linebackers coach, Sterling Lucas, to come in and coach the interior defensive line for LSU. Why is this so major? Because Sterling Lucas is a good evaluator of talent, and he's an excellent recruiter. And not only can he evaluate the talent, he can develop the talent too. South Carolina the last 3 years has had some very dominant front sevens. And he's one of the reasons behind it. So being able to get him from another SEC school to come over to Baton Rouge and coach on an elite defensive staff and adding another elite recruiter and talent developer to this staff makes this a huge hire and very important, especially considering the young guys you got coming in and the pieces that we're going to need to get in the portal. It's a big hire. It's a big deal. But let's also keep in mind, too, the fact that this addition hurts another SEC school. So we are elevating our brand while also hurting down another SEC opponent. It's smart hires. And I know, we all thought Elijah Robinson was going to be the guy, which I did too. And I thought that would have been a fantastic hire as well. I was hyped for him. But I didn't know where else they were going to turn. And I didn't even think that Sterling Lucas was an option. But I'm not an insider. So I'm not supposed to know who is an option. All that I can do is break down for you what's going on. And that's what I'm doing and tell you why it's important that we were able to pull this off and how it's going to affect us long term. I think right now what you're going to see is LSU get back to it being a dog in the trenches, having swag on the front lines on both sides. Because Kevin Peoples is great at coaching the ends. And Sterling Lucas is going to develop the hell out of the interior defensive line unit. And Steve Wilfork is a good offensive line coach as well. So football games are won and lost in the trenches. And if we get that dog mentality back on that front line, LSU will be a problem. Because we have talent. We're just missing that edge. We're just missing that edge. So the hires that Lane Kiffin has been able to put together and assemble in Baton Rouge have been nothing short of phenomenal. No staff member have we looked at and gone, I'm not too sure about that. Lane is getting the grace that he deserves, but these guys also have a proven track record because they've been with him on offense. And the one defensive move that he had to make, well, two, he had to retain Blake Baker, and he went all in on doing that, which was an excellent decision. And then getting a guy like Sterling Lucas to finish off the defensive staff is magnifique. It is phenomenal. Phenomenal work by Lane and this staff. I'm excited, man. January 2nd cannot get here soon enough. The portal is going to be popping, and LSU is going to be reaching in that thing, and I can't be more excited to see what we grab. The rumors are swirling as to who we're linked to. Like I said, with Sterling Lucas being the fantastic recruiter that he is, he recruited one of the nation's top edge defender, true sophomore Dylan Stewart, who's been producing at South Carolina since he was a true freshman in the 2023 season. So, the 2024 season, 2024 and 2025. So, he's got 2 years of eligibility left. The likelihood of him leaving South Carolina to follow Coach Sterling Lucas is very high, but we shall see. But I'll tell you this, I'm excited. I don't care. I don't care who we get. I don't care. The staff we have a staff where I know when the ball is spotted, we're not gonna be outcoached. We'll make our own mistakes. It won't be the other team's coaching staff scheming things up to make us look silly when we've been there before. And I'm excited about it. So let's shift now to the Saints. The Saints played the Jets yesterday and did what they were supposed to do. And that feels good to say. The expectation was you have a hapless New York Jets team that's been gutted. It's basically a preseason roster at the end of the regular season in the NFL. They're actively tanking. The Saints, I don't care how bad we are as a team, who's not there, who is there, we should have dominated this team, and we did. But not only did we dominate them, Tyler Shuck looked good while doing it. He really did look good. Over 300 passing yards, a touchdown, no interceptions, got sacked 3 times. That's because we got a bunch of delivery guys playing in front of him on the offensive line. But they looked good. The defense looked good. You held the team to 6 points. You shut them out in the second half. The Saints looked good. And look, I know all offseason, I personally was giving Mickey Loomis a lot of slack for how he was handling things for the last few seasons. But what I will say is, 1 second. Oh, excuse me. But what I will say is this. Mickey and his staff did an excellent job of drafting. The player evaluations and the scouts for this draft class were phenomenal. And you're getting something out of all your young pieces, and you're getting a lot of hope for their development and what's to come. But I can tell you this, and I said it in a previous episode. Tyler Shuck may not be the guy for 10 years, but he is the guy for the next 10 months. We do not have to worry about drafting a quarterback in the 2026 draft class. That is off the table. Who cares about where we're drafting right now? Let's continue to win these last two games, have an established winning culture in the locker room, get Tyler Shuck to having a 6-3 record as a starter. Give this guy the confidence. He's led this Saints team on a 3-game winning streak. Let's keep that rolling. We got to keep that rolling. And you see, with the skill position players around him, and he's elevating everybody's play. Chris Olave is looking like he can actually be I'm not going to say a true number one, but a great complementary piece to a number one. He's a guy that you have to be aware of at all times where he is on the field, or else he will burn you and get open and make a nice catch. He's not the guy to make the contested catches just yet. He can develop into that, but right now he's a great route runner. He knows where the routes are going to be open at. He doesn't overrun the coverage or the open windows and through the passing coverage, and he makes his hands available. He just has to be consistent with coming down with the ball. And this year he stayed healthy. He's earned his contract. Can he be consistent with the next year? We'll worry about that when we get to next year. But this year he's done what he's supposed to do. We had no actual NFL quality running backs yesterday. And we still were able to run the ball because of the threat of the pass. Tyler Shuck is elevating this team. He is right now. And see, and what I do love the most about Shuck is that he got off the plane and he embraced the culture. He didn't try to, like duck and dodge it. He just tried to take it all in. And that's what South Louisiana is all about. If you love South Louisiana, it's going to love you right back. That leads me to my final segment for tonight. It's why Lane Kiffin's approach, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in our episode tomorrow. Lane Kiffin's approach is so good because he's hungry to win. He has the perfect attitude to match the tenor of the fan base. And he's embracing the culture of where he is. We don't care what you do in your own time. You're the coach at LSU, be about LSU. And when you are about LSU, when you give LSU everything you can, she embraces you and gives you the world. But the moment you take your eye off of her, even for a little while longer than what it should be, she turns on you. The pressure becomes too much. She chews you up and she spits you out. I don't think Lane's going to allow that to happen to him now. Because of how he's handling. He is coming in with that hunger and that passion. He is coming in trying to take everything LSU has to offer and multiply it in every other way possible. He's marrying the brand with his brand, and that's going to be a scary sight. So we'll end it here because I want to leap off of that into another episode. So I know it's late. Didn't want to keep anybody too long. Thank you for joining me and watching this episode. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It is free. Just push the button. Just push the button, bro. Let that be my Merry Christmas present, please. And tell a friend. Thank you so much. This is AP with the TNT podcast, Timeouts and Tangents. Thank you, and y'all have a good night.